some cheap rope here so we can start chaining up dogs in various places. I think he'll take that. Yeah, there we go. Yep, figured he would. Okay. So that chucks off a bunch of our mugs over to him, and we get some goods in return. That's awesome. Looks like we've got some more mugs still, so we could still trade for some more stuff if we wanted here. Haven't gone through our full supply by any stretch. We've got a whole bunch of finished goods that we haven't used. And I didn't even sell the bronze discs that we still have, 5 or 6 of those floating around. It's $6,000 or $8,000 worth of inventory. Okay. That means we're not storing everything. We're missing. Oh, gotta finish up my hospital, don't I? That'll get us a hospital with plenty of beds. Okay, what are we still storing in here? Finished goods, gems? Yeah, those gotta go. Leather, cloth, they're out of here.
some more dwarves that have arrived.
Ah, excellent. Hopefully someone brought a cat. I love cats. Mmm, delicious.
Okay, now we can get a second kitchen up because we'll have somebody to actually use it. Now, obviously, because we've committed these guys back to being specialists, our idler count has gone up quite a bit because we've got more people who are around doing nothing, basically. We need to make sure that we keep tasks in play as much as we can. For folks who are really idle, maybe we start them on wood burning so that we keep the wood burning stuff going here. So we keep creating charcoal and getting our furnaces up and running, glass going. Obviously, we're going to have a huge demand for wood. The elves are probably not going to like us for long. I don't know if Toadie's added that back in yet or not, but it used to be the case that if you cut too many trees, the elves would dislike you. If that's been added back, then we're going to have a bad time before too much longer, because I want to keep cutting trees, I can tell you right now. Got to have that wood. Get out there and make that wood. Now, we haven't actually put our choppers into the military properly yet, so we'll go ahead and give them wood cutting temporarily. It doesn't matter. They'll eventually drop their axes and equip proper axes, but in the meantime, we can have them do wood cutting and take care of a few other generic hauler tasks. All these military guys, and they're not training, we can have them doing wood burning. We can have them doing potash making and lye making. I don't care about those jobs. That anybody can do those. We'll take a stroll back through our animals and butcher those for raw materials that we can. Got to get all those grazers out of their cages. So yeah, some of our guys have warhammers and are training with them now. That's good. Okay, so we've got plenty of bronze to keep making bronze weapons with. That's good. We can make use of that then. Wonderful. Get our weapons automated so that we don't have to worry about those anymore. Since we have enough bronze right now to last us, we'll just go ahead and crank out what we can. Get everybody equipped who needs to be, and then we can go from there. Something ate our dog. A dingo man. That's a job for our squad. With extreme prejudice. Oh, the meta-humanity! Okay, this winding path will eventually become our kill room, basically. Sieges check in, they don't check out, that kind of thing. What the hell are my miners up to? Oh, right, excavating the 40 million miles of exploratory tunnels I had to dig in order to try and find something resembling a mineral that would be useful for a weapon. Status? No luck. So I'm guessing the iron must be pretty deep at this point. So let's see if we can find a deeper cave, maybe. Something that will tip us off to where the iron might be hidden. Because I don't see any in here. Plenty of gems, but no veins of metal. Same thing here. I'm not seeing any here either. Gems again, but no veins of metal here. Okay, now we've kind of trimmed the trees back to the west. So over here I'm going to see if there's any trees to harvest. See, I'm trying to remember, that's gather, isn't it? Yes, P. And then we'll make sure we've got some people assigned to gathering duty to kind of scoop up the raw wild plants. Don't have anybody assigned at the moment, so we'll promote someone into that duty. And let them run around gathering their skill for a change. Anything they happen to harvest is just icing on the cake. We don't really need it for food production. It's primarily to see what sort of wild plants we might be able to reharvest and plant in our own crop fields. Variety is kind of the spice of life for your dwarves. Keeping them in a variety of foods will keep them happier. Speaking of happiness, let's go back to Dwarf Therapist for a moment and take a look. So all these folks are fine. That's not particularly good, but it's at least tolerable. We should probably work on improving our mood, because we don't have anybody in a good mood at the moment. They're all kind of meh. And so a really bad siege with a lot of injuries, for example, could start pushing people over the edge. So let's see what the problem is. Slept on a rough floor, drank with no mug, insufficient tables. Lots of people need a bedroom. Few people had an argument. Lots of people are unfulfilled. Some people witnessed death. Those poor, poor people. Some 11 of them have trauma. So there's where our negatives are coming from. Bedrooms is correctable. Arguments, there's not much I can really do about. Witnessing death will eventually fade off, but until it does, there's not much I can do. Unfulfilled. So yeah, a bunch of people are, generally unhappy, it looks like, in that case. Oh well. We could get some of our statues built. That would give us buildings to admire. These 10 are probably our military guys training one another. So lots of people happy with their bedrooms. Everybody who doesn't have one kind of upset. So Whew! Now that should get our carpenters working on more beds, I would hope. Let's go check and see if they're doing okay on wood. Yep, beds and bookcases. I wonder what we're doing with the bookcases. They keep making more. How many of these did I tell it to make? Oh, we're just making 5 a day regardless. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, let's stop that now, please. Probably have 30,000 wooden bookcases. Alright, anybody who's idle can go start installing beds and chests and dressers, and we'll get some bedrooms built for people who don't have one.
I can't do it.
There we go, beds are going in. Not doing so good on the wood stockpile here. That's no good. Guess all our haulers are kind of busy at the moment. We're just going to have to wait for wood to be produced here, I'm afraid. Alright. And they're harvesting the wild crops. That's wonderful. We can brew those and make seeds out of those and do things with them from what we harvest. That'll be good. Apparently we came across some limonite ore somewhere. I'm going to smelt every last piece of that before I do anything else.
I'm going to keep this thing.
Our third cavern is right there because there's the dampness from the water that's north of where this staircase is being dug. Okay, so what I've done here is I've linked up all of the workshops and stockpiles. Now, what I'm doing here actually limits them to producing only what I've told them to produce, and only if I have the materials in the stockpiles in question. They won't go outside the linkages to help themselves. So, for example, when I want to cut gems, they will only cut gems that are stored in the rough gem stockpile I've designated to give to their workshop. If there are no rough gems there, even if they're in a different stockpile, no one will touch them. They won't perform those jobs until they can actually get the materials from the stockpiles that they're linked to. Likewise, if they have outputs that aren't linked somewhere, then those outputs they won't finish it because they need the outputs to go somewhere. And so likewise, we've basically hooked all of this up as one giant pipe. These outer right and left ones are for cutting gems from rough into cut, with the stockpiles on the outer edges holding cut gems in bins, taking from the raw gem stockpile up above. The inner ones are the assembly jewelers' workshops. They will set the gems into the mugs. They take cut gems from the outer stockpile and undecorated mugs from up here and combine them into mugs with cut gems in them and then put those there. This stockpile gets drained into our trading stockpile upstairs. So our mugs will end up here, once they've been decorated. Okay, so everybody's training, good. Military working, good. Idler count low, nice. Stock's doing good. Drink's kind of floating. Let's check in on our brewers here and see if we've got brewers doing brewing here.
It won't work.
Looks like we're doing okay. That gets us a few more bedrooms into play. Okay, let's go back and check on our garbage zone that we never set up properly, because we never did set it up properly. build that zone in to where it needs to be. That's garbage. Oh, not garbage. Not gather, pick fruit. Dump. There we go. Sorry. That will allow us to dump our refuse someplace where it won't stink up the joint. Alright, and they'll come along and pitch all that stuff into the garbage chute.
It is now winter.
My other mason is sitting over there not doing anything. Don't! No wonder Cleanodev is so good. He's above the skill cutoff, and the other guy's sitting over there going, "Can I make blocks yet? Can I make blocks yet?" have a better idea. We'll smooth that stone instead, and I'll get rid of this other designation because we won't need it anymore. Because I think we'll just smooth the fortification and we'll be able to see the cavern that way.